V'hinei gimel madrigas hanal ba bittul da'or. So the three levels of bittul were identified in the oir. The first level, that's as explained in the previous ois, where he added the chiddush of the previous ois was, why is keli integral? Islapshus, being invested in the keli, is integral to the first level of oir, which is its function, its agenda is to reveal that there is a moir. And the answer is in those very words. Since its function is to reveal that there is a moir, so critical to that level of oir is the keli, that they should know that there's a moir. And then there's the higher two levels, which are higher than Islapshus. But the first one, begeder Islapshus, as we explained, that's the bittul of ayin, Lachoshech. And then there's the third level of bittul, which corresponds to keser. The first was bina, the second chacham, the third keser, which is the bittul of efes, which explains is a bittul the etzem etzias of the oir. The three levels of bittul in the oir. The first level is, to put it in this language, the first level of bittul is the oir has a very clear agenda. You have to know me. So it has a very clear agenda moving away from the moir. What do you have to know? Taka the moir. But there's a you, and I got to tell you. Then there's the second bittul of the oir, nigish by makayrai. It's much less about a mission, an agenda, a shlichus, that a keli should know, that you should know, but that the mocker be felt. And the third level is total bittul b'metzias in the oir, that all it is kolol in the moir, or the desire to be kolol in the moir. And that's a bittul that permeates its etzem. So there's a bittul chitzoni, a bittul pnimi, and a bittul atzmi. That's what he's saying.
Can you give a muscle? Can you give a muscle about a person? Wait a second. Wait a second.
All these days, I'm a muscle for all of that.
Okay.
This is what we're talking about. So there's an external bittul, an internal bittul, and the essential bittul. It's everything we've been saying now the last week. Now he's going to explain this in avodah. So not just a moshel, but a practical avodah. So more than a moshel is coming. So these three levels, I just gave them now new words to help you. External, internal, essential bittul. As just explained in the moshel. Okay, so using the moshel we gave of the picture. That image is an image. And it tells you that over there, in Hawaii, there's a beautiful lagoon. So how bottle is the image to the lagoon? Very far away. And the image says, I'm here. There's a keli watching it. Who's the keli? Me and you looking at the picture. That's why the picture was taken. That's why the picture is here. So what does the picture says? The picture says that thousands of miles away, there's a beautiful lagoon. So obviously the bittul of this picture to the lagoon is a bittul chitzoni. It's very far away. True, the whole point of the picture is to tell you that that's what's going on over there, but that's the point, it's over there. Then as you look at the picture deeper, ponder it deeper, it starts to connect you to the there. Because you're stirred by it. The there is stirring you. The picture is giving you the hergish of the mocker. That's a much deeper bittul to this picture. Is this now image, picture? That's what it is, as we're saying endlessly, right? So that's a much deeper bittul that this picture is now expressing, lagabi the mocker, because it's making you have feelings for it. And the ultimate bittul is that you want to go there. So it's all called kulimoir, the mocker. That's a bittul on the etzem betzias of the picture. So the oir conveys a chitzon is dike bittul, the pinim is dike bittul, and the asmi is dike bittul. Now
in this case, the R never changed. I mean, it's always the picture.
Okay, let's invite it. So here, the dugmen in avoid piamu velel b'mayim. Shegimel. If you understood what I said, that's must speak. Okay, let's learn further. Shegimel madreges sanab b'bitol doirim b'chinas chachma bina chachma v'keser. What I'm trying to tell you is, we just only if understand what I said, good. A kasha, no kasha. That you wait until the end of the Mayim explains it on him, and then you can ask a question. Unless I'm not getting what you're asking here. Yeah. But I said it's clear. That's the mitzias. Verstanden? There's these three levels of bittul that it evokes.
Yeah, it's clear.
We're not talking about three different iris. Obviously, it's one image. Meret, Gimel, Dargis in this image in the Eire. Of course, it's the same Eire. The picture doesn't change every time your appreciation of it is deepened. That's the whole point. It's the Ein Eibishter. So, what are the three bitulim? Look at it. Let me learn it. Yeshloimish Gimel bitulim hanal ba'avidus adam. So in Avodah it's as follows. It's all about emunah. Emunah means the dark God of the world. So there's three dargis. Habitul dasagam you said the emunah. There's the bittul of understanding that's based on emunah. Then there's a second level, habitul emunah, the bittul of the yid to God. That's a pure expression of his emunah. First one's expression of his understanding of his emunah, and the third, Vabitul de Mesiras Nefesh. Now, this is very deep and nuanced, and let's try and understand. Let's go. Doing this together, I just glanced at it, and we'll explore. We got the words right. What are the three levels? Somebody say them. One is what?
Asage, Amunah, and
Understanding.
Mesiras Nefesh.
Let's use English. Understanding as much as we can. Okay, understanding emunah, good. Second level. The second level. The emunah itself.
Why does he use the word bittul? The bittul of the emunah.
Three levels of bittul of the person.
Okay.
His bittul because of his understanding of his emunah. The
Okay,
bittul of the pure emunah, that pure emunah engenders or expresses, or as a result of, it goes both ways. And the third, the bittul of Mesiras Nefesh. This corresponds to these three levels that we said before, which we threw into the fray to help us, relatively speaking, chitzonius, pnimius, and etza. External, internal, completely saturated essence. The humans up here moving. Now, if you think you have to think till now, it starts to think. I can just see the this is based on what? Okay. Being in maki for pnimi. So in explaining the interaction between makif and pnimi, transcendent and immanence, where there it's explained as follows. Let's try and get this. Even when the makif, that which is essentially transcendent, is drawn into the pnimi, the keli, it still remains a makif. Now, why is he talking about? Maybe you tell me, why is this already clearly? Why is he invoking makif and pnimi? Because we're talking about emunah. Emunah is makif. Pnimi is seichel. The first level of bittul is where seichel appreciates emunah. The third level is the makif itself. The emunah, the second level. And there's a third level of Mesiras Nefesh. Emunah, by definition, is makif. Why is emunah makif? Someone venture an explanation. There's not a new concept at all. Why is emunah inyan makif? Don't be afraid of my bark. No. Not a mystery question. Why is a mukha makif?
Because it's not it's not resting in any single place. It's everywhere.
Because it doesn't require any particular knowledge or understanding. A person can have a muna, even if they don't have a panemius understanding of the thing itself.
Yeah, and not a person can have. It's what emuna is. Emuna is a relationship with whatever it is that you believe in that is not based on pnimi. What's pnimi? Pnimi is the conscious faculties of understanding and reason. By nature, emuna is a surrender to something and a level beyond intellect. That's makif. And it doesn't need seichel to justify it. It exists very nicely on its own, with or without understanding. Questions notwithstanding, the emunah remains unchanged. So then the emunah, well, now we're going to learn. So even when the emunah is drawn into a pnimi, it still remains a makif. It's not like the emunah now becomes transmutes into an intellectual. Faith can be understood and appreciated, understand what that means, to understand faith, to understand one's faith. But it can be. But that doesn't mean that the faith becomes understandable. He's going to explain it. Let's see. We see this in the inyan of the way light is contained in a keli. Light by nature spreads. It just spreads. Its nature is makif. Its nature is not to be contained. Like this, so the light, for example, is projected through a film, and then the light that now projects on the other side of the film is now very defined, very profoundly intricate images. Still, nonetheless, even after the oil has been contained by the film in our example, the light still, even though it's a very defined picture and image, that's what a film is. It's the light going through a film. And you watch on the screen a very defined image. The emes is that the light then that projects post the film, it still remains b'muhusay. The examples given, is obviously not a film, but no classic examples. There's two classic examples. Actually, it's from Kabbalah. It's from Kabbalah Svarim. It's from the Ramak. Water in a colored glass. So you're looking at the water. It appears to have this color, but it doesn't. It still remains b'pshitusa. Now, that's what he's saying now. That even when the emunah is apprehended in seichel, or a makiv is apprehended in seichel, notwithstanding the makiv, the oil remains makiv. Now, he's going to illustrate this on a personal level. What is makiv b'nefesh ha'adam? What is the level makiv b'nefesh ha'adam? It is what? Rotzen. Let's see it right inside. Boom, inside the text. Look inside. V'alderech ha'rotzen, like rotzen. Person has a will for something. So he's justified it. He's justified why he wants this. So much so that the will manipulates the seichel, that it should be in accordance with what I want. And you ask him, so why did you get this? He's going to give you a whole explanation. But the emes is, all those explanations are not why he wants it. He wants it because he wants it. It talks to me. Even though he's going to give you all these explanations for why he wants this and justifies it, But still, the rotzen that drives it all has not been, even notwithstanding the fact that he has explanations for himself or for you, the rotzen, that it's not like the rotzen now has become no longer the pure rotzen. The whole thing begins with intellectual pursuit. It's not so. He wants it because he wants it. And that remains, notwithstanding very compelling reasons to get this thing, to have this thing, whatever it is that he wants. The rotzen remains. It still remains a rotzen, ervil, because he wants. Now talking about bislapshus emunah b'seichel. So likewise, when we contemplate our faith in God, when he thinks about that which he just naturally believes in. As we pointed out many times in the past, you don't have to prove or explain to children God. Period. Now, you would think that the last subject in the world you talk about to a child is God. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? How is a child's intellect supposed to understand God? The emphasis is the child is the easiest person to talk about God. It's just a given. And beyond any words, you just talk about Eibishter. Why? Because there is a God, so we naturally believe in him. Why do we believe in God? Because God exists. That's why we believe in him. And because we come from him. And that's just the deepest truth possible. And less complicated we are, the more natural that sense is. So it's makif. It's makif. It's way bigger than any proofs or any emotional experiences. That's what emunah is. Now, when a person contemplates his emunah, gets older and starts to consider it and appreciate it, looks around and sees how the world is such a unified place. That's amazing. Oh, well, because there's one God that's responsible for it all. God explains a lot of things. And also explains things we don't know. It also actually explains things we can't understand. I'll call upon him, whatever the hisbonenus says, each one on his level. Does that change the emunah? No. It's inside the text. So when he's appreciating, look inside the words of the Maimon. In his seichel, something that he believes, in bracket, v'emunah pshuta, he's addressing his pure, instinctual, natural, born with emunah shalamayim seichel. Why is he thinking about it? Because he wants, he's an intellectual, he's a thinker. So he wants it's a need. It's a need that the seichel also be part of this deep sense that I have. So the fact is, even if he understands the inyan, and he can prove intellectually that there is a God, he can prove it. He'll prove the inyan. It doesn't have to be only that there is a God. It can be something about elikus, an aspect of God's expression. So even after explaining, he understands the inyan in his seichel, and in inyan, in the Maimon. The inyan explains an aspect of divinity. Before that, it's just there. He just has this natural belief in God's word, in God's commandment, God's will, etc. But then he learns, understands, and appreciates what that means. So emunah doesn't change his emunah, because if it did, that would be a terrible thing, wouldn't it? If by understanding now the whole relationship is based on my seichel, then the deepest connection to you was lost. It's not so. That's not what happens. Without it, the emunah is now apprehended in seichel, but the emunah still remains emunah. By learning Chassidus Chabad doesn't make you less innocent and compromising your emunah. The emphasis is adrab of adrab, as kanira b'chosh, as we see in actuality. like some fools think. That it's a compromise of the simplicity of faith. On the contrary. Now, now it's where it gets dense, friends. So far, a little bit clear? Yeah. Now, the difference between the two Mishalim, what two Mishalim? Ratzin and Seichel and Emunah. Ratzin and Emunah. The two Mishalim, to explain, Mishalim, we mean by illustrations. Two illustrations of Makif and Pnimi. Why you're looking puzzled?
Isn't it? And I'm sure talking about Dargis and Vedas Adam, and one of the Dargis was Bittul of Amunah, no? Why is that a mashal?
Yeah, because first, mashal is illustrating their interaction, and then he'll translate that in Avodah. Yeah, it's both. Emunah is both used here as a mashal now, just an understanding. Emunah in anything. I'm talking about Eibishter, but Emunah is just belief in anything.
Even in Avodah, they're saying it's a dogma to the R we're explaining. It's also like, in a way, a mashal to the R. And like, there's... Yeah. We don't mean a mashal as in once upon a time there was. It's mean illustration. It's not like he's saying, and this is in Avodah. He's saying it's like the dogma of what we're learning in...
Yeah, the three dargis. Yeah. Okay. Now, so, Achiluk, the difference between the two Mishalim, Emunah in Seichel, and the second one, Ratzin justified by Seichel, is the moshel of he wants something, and he justifies it and explains the reasons in Seichel. If you understand the Maimon Matat Tetzav, it'll help here, and also this will help to understand Matat Tetzav. We're talking about the interaction of Rotzen and Seichel. So this that the Seichel understands and justifies the Rotzen, doesn't start with Seichel. Varaya, the world of Seichel will never come up with, you got to get this car, for example. But now he's going to explain it to you, why all the miles of this, why he needs it. Why? What happened here? It starts with the Rotzen. And what happens? The Rotzen manipulates the Seichel. Till now, in fact, the Seichel, pure Seichel, it doesn't. You ask him purely intellectually, objectively, you have to have this? No. But he wants it. So the want has completely imposed itself on the Seichel, and the Seichel now is going, what a good word for it, the Seichel is going to, justify, but I want to bring out that it's kind of...
It's going to play along.
It goes along, there's a word for it, against its own world. The world of Seichel says, no, you don't need this. His wife is the voice of reason. She's trying to tell him, you don't need this. But he's hell-bent on getting it because he wants it. And he's giving a whole lot of explanations. And so she capitulates. And to keep Shalom Bay, she capitulates. Okay. The Seichel capitulates is what I'm looking for. The intellect capitulates to the Ratzin and can parrot it and say all the reasons. So the Kivin, she's Lapshis as opposed to Emunah. Again, it's Atat Tetzav, it's in Atzah.
It's also being Mislavish. It's not just obeying it. Now he's going through Seichel, and Seichel is coming.
But like you say, it's Mata. He didn't say overwhelm. Didn't say overwhelm. I want, and that's it. And the Seichel gives, but why? Shut up, Seichel, and overwhelms it and blocks it. No. Mata says Seichel. Seichel's going to explain it, but he's manipulated. Mishana. Rotzen is the strong arm enforcer. Okay, I understand. I get it. Says Seichel, no more protest. capitulates and expresses in certitude to the Ratzon intellectual reasons. Why? Now, since therefore, having said this, the Islapshus of Ratzon and Seichel by Seichel misbattle, the Seichel it's not going along with this mitzat Seichel varay again before the Ratzon. No logic said you got to get this. So it's misbattle the mishtanen changes b'nei Ratzon, and it's changing. Therefore, lachein, this is a mashal for what? Let's see. So therefore, the fact that the Ratzon is now being expressed in all kinds of explanations, but doesn't really change the Ratzon. Even though he's explaining all the reasons, what he's really feeling inside is, I want this. He's just packaging it in Seichel. So that's not such a chiddush in this mashal to say that the Ratzon remains Ratzon even though he's articulating it in words. We can see that. Because that's the nature of Ratzon. We're going to contrast this to Emun in a moment, that to become clearer. He wants this, let's back up. What's he saying here? A makif, even after it's nimshich in the pnimis, remains a makif. It's not such a chiddush to see that in Ratzon. Ratzon is be'etzem higher than Seichel, period. And that's what drives the whole thing, because I just want this. Then all of the Seichel in the world that the Ratzon is going to be invested in, we can appreciate. In other words, it's easy to see that even though I'm giving you all these explanations, they don't diminish the real cause of this, is my want of it. It's not diminished despite my Ratzon being established in Seichel. It doesn't compromise my Ratzon.
The seichel is not a real seichel. It could be false justifications even, but it's just because I want what I want.
It's not going to be false. It's just not pnimis. They're not false. They're not false. He's giving good arguments. So there's counter arguments, but they're good arguments. They're good arguments. The point he wants to bring, it's not such a chiddush to say that when a person wants something and then he invests it and explains it to you his want, that doesn't compromise his want, even as it's invested in the Seichel. Now we're going to contrast this with Emun in Seichel. Then when Seichel comes to the conclusion that there's an Eibishter, it's not the same meaning. And to say that there too, it's not compromised, it's a big chiddush. We'll see. To be seen. Let's not try and second guess this. How are you thinking? The wheels are turning. Hold on. Okay. We're waiting for the guys to get on. Oh, Ari is on already. So let's read the next few words. But when Emunah is drawn into Seichel, what's coming? But this is a different story. Here the Seichel is coming to the conclusion that that which I believe in is true. The Seichel is not being manipulated. This is not over the protests of Seichel. I wasn't aware of this before. Now you introduce this to me, and I understand it. So we're in the mid-sentence, to be explained further, that the Emunah is not compromised, even though he really understands it be'emes. And there's no any counter argument he'll defeat soundly. That's a bigger chiddush. Right? To be continued.